Something to monitor. Guys, we're going to keep with the Guardians talk to start today's show after a quick word from FanDuel. And FanDuel is helping NFL fans start big with big returns on America's #1 sportsbook. When you get in a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's at FanDuel.com/UCSS. Never waste a hunch. And make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sponsor of the NFL. And we will preview the Browns-Commanders game coming up in a sec. But we wanted to start with the Guardians, who do play their first 2 games of the ALDS this weekend. We'll start with this. The Guardians preseason.
No, they play Saturday and Monday.
Well, this weekend coming up, we won't preview those shows before.
Right.
But yeah, Saturday and Monday, the first 2 games. We know Scooble's pitching game 2 for the Tigers. We don't know who's pitching game 2 for the Guardians. We know Bobby's pitching game 1 for Cleveland. We don't know who's pitching game 1 for Detroit yet. The Guardians' win total entering the season was right around 500. It's actually just slightly below. They ended up with the 2 seed in the American League. Mm-hmm. Are they playing with house money in this playoff run, or because of the success they had in the regular season, have those expectations ramped up to the point where this team kind of has to make a run?
There's a team in this series playing with house money, and it's not the Guardians. It's the Tigers. The Tigers watched their front office give up on them at the trade deadline. They were sellers. They were not supposed to make the playoffs. The one thing we've learned in baseball the last couple of years, when you have no expectations, it becomes a game again. With business comes pressure. With games comes fun. When you're playing a game for fun and there's nothing on the line, you're loose and free. I'll bring that up. If you bet on football, think of how you casually watch a Thursday night game that you have no horse in the race on. I'm just watching. This is easy. You're loose. You're free. If you've got money on the game, you're watching the whole game entirely differently. I think Detroit, and they proved it in their first series, they went on the road. Houston's not the juggernaut that they used to be, but they don't care about anything. I love that A.J. Hinch went into Houston, by the way, and put it to his old employers. This team terrifies me because they're loose, they're free, they're playing with house money. And the fact that they've got Scooble ready to fire in game 2 puts all the pressure in the entire series on the Guardians to win game 1, because they know if they don't come away with a game 1 victory, they are staring 0-2 square in the face. Because Scooble, to me, watching him pitch in Houston, this guy he's money.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of don't believe in house money. I feel like you can say that, but once you get through the season and you see that the Guardians, over the longest haul that we had, has been one of the best teams, I don't think you could just flip the switch and go into the playoffs and just say, oh, well, it's house money. If we don't win, it's no big deal. We had a year nobody expected that. I don't believe that. I think that Stephen Vogt said earlier this year, Jay talks about it a lot, he said, what would be a great year for you guys? He said a World Series. And I think once you get to the playoffs, it's important that you stress to your team, we are here. Why not us? Why not go ahead and win it? And I think, and the opposite happens with baseball, because in baseball, you should be free and ready to play because you know that you made the tournament. You're in the tournament now. And in baseball, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't necessarily mean the best team is going to win. You give yourself a great opportunity. You did what you need. You got home field. You have a best record for a reason. So for me, I would go in and say, listen, guys, we better than the Tigers. We beat the Tigers throughout the last 5 or 6 years.
They're 7-6 against them this year.
Hey, they playing good ball. We won game. They got 1 game on us. But
we won the series 7-6. But here's the weird thing: they're 33-13 over their last 46. Let that sink in. 33-13. We haven't played them in that stretch.
And if they come into game 1 and take care of business, that's all on them now. Now the Tigers better win with Scoop on the mound.
No, I agree with you.
And if you lose that game, y'all about to get up out of here. You're done. I think in baseball, I think it shifts game to game. Guardians win that first game. Now you put Detroit on notice, Jason. You better get that.
Would you agree, though, that the Guardians have all the pressure on them in game one, being at home, being the favorite, and knowing that their ace, Detroit's, is going the next day or the next game?
No.
Wow. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there is pressure on them. And the idea of house money, guys, this team hasn't won a championship in 76 years.
That's correct.
76 years. The house is out of money. There is no such thing.
Right.
There's no such thing as house money when you're dealing with an organization that hasn't won a championship in 76 years. There is a sense of urgency every single year that you make it to get it done. And you know, we've, I think, been on record most of the season since we really figured out what this team was. This team can win a championship. The way baseball is now, the way that there is no team that you look at and say they can't beat them. They can beat any team in front of them because of the bullpen. They got to get just enough pitching, and they got to get hot at the right time with the bats. But their bullpen can carry them to a championship. I absolutely believe that. And I haven't always thought that in years that they went to the playoffs. But this idea of house money is nonsense. There is pressure on this team to win because it's not Josh Naylor's fault that they haven't won in 76 years. But the fact is, this organization has not won a championship in 76 years. There is no house money to play with. You have to have a sense of urgency every single year you're there.
I think that's well said.
We talk about Jose Ramirez being a guy that's going to get a statue. If you got a guy like that on your roster, why would you not believe? Like, at some point in time, I wanted to come down to say, oh, Jose Ramirez won that whole series. He was 12 for 16. He had 3 home runs and 4 or 5 great plays.
We're waiting for that. That's the one thing missing from Jose Ramirez's resume. He's done everything a player can do in the regular season. He's damn near a 50-50 guy. He gives you everything he has. But when you look at his playoff resume, it's not Jose Ramirez.
The Tigers do not have everyday infielder, outfielder, everyday player like Jose Ramirez.
They do not.
The same way they got Scooble and we don't have that.
Right.
Well, we got Jose.
Right.
So we need to
The only problem is Jose only can make a difference at the plate maybe 4 or 5 times. Scooble's facing every single hitter in the game.
There it is.
For the first 6 or 7 innings.
But the great thing about baseball is one swing of the bat can change the whole tide of the series.
We've seen that.
We've seen it happen. I like the Guardians where they're at. I think Stephen Vogt will keep them loose. I think that they have the veteran, the backing of the veterans, and I think Jose Ramirez, I'm counting on him having a big series. That's where I'm looking at. Every series, I need somebody else to give me something. Next series, it could be Josh Naylor. Sure. Somebody pull up, give me something.
Yep.